Thank you. What is going on, guys? This is Jay Craft with the Facebook group Bolorama Pickers Lounge, coming at you live again for another one of our Sunday reseller roundups. And boy, oh boy, do we have a big episode in store for this week. We are going to be talking about a couple of major stories that happened over the last few weeks, and they're still going to be developing coming into next week, as well as some changes that we've made here to the show, some of which you can already see. And we're going to be taking a deep dive into some of the pickups that I got on the while I was out this week. We're also going to be having a special interview with Dropship Tyler, a fellow YouTuber, regarding the issue of dropshipping and some of the massive changes that are happening on eBay that even RA, retail arbitrage type sellers, should be keeping their eyes open for, as well as taking a look at the Elliott Management letter that got fired out to the CEOs of eBay and the expected response that we can hear back from them coming up on the Q4 conference call that's going to be happening on the 29th of this month. So make sure you stick around, enjoy the show, tell other people about it, okay? I want to thank everyone for taking the time to be here tonight. We got a ton of people in the audience. Just so you know, this is a live broadcast coming to you through YouTube, but it's also being rebroadcast across Twitter, Instagram, as well as Pinterest. So to all of those of you who are out there watching in other places, thank you for taking the time to watch. And please come on by, check out our YouTube channel, and get your comments up on screen with everyone else. How cool is that? I'm able to read your comments right here on screen, so make sure we keep it a little bit classy. If you guys have any questions too, just like it says up in the corner, you feel free to ask your questions and I'll do my best to answer them. But I will tell you right now that this next hour is going to be predominantly news. We have a lot of stuff that we need to cover. We're going to start with the Elliott Management letter, and then from there we're going to be carrying on to the interview. So this is kind of a bit of a big story, guys. I've been working on this one for quite a bit. To understand everything that happened with this whole program, it took about 20 hours worth of work. One more thing before I forget. I'm so sorry about this, guys. I want to thank all the patrons who helped make this show possible. We got a ticker going down below now. If you'd like your name to be in there, all you have to do is visit the website over here, patreon.com/Bolorama. Here's all of our other information as well regarding our group, how you can donate, how you can get discounted shipping. We're going to be covering all of that later in the show as well. So let's get that out of here. So the Elliott Management letter sent to eBay CEOs. Now, some of you out there are going to be hearing that and thinking, okay, this means nothing to me at all. And then there's other people on the completely other end of the spectrum who are saying, oh my God, this is the end of eBay as we know it. You know, Jay, what should I be doing? What should I be thinking? Is now the time to start worrying? Should I be diversifying? And there's a lot to dissect here, a whole lot to dissect, to the point where I've read the letter multiple times, I've written the notes multiple times, and I had to learn a lot of stuff to be able to make it digestible and be able to bring it to you. And I'm going to try and hammer through this as best I can. I'm going to try to make it not seem like I'm lecturing and not like we're sitting down here at class, but there is a lot to go over, and there was a lot of terms that even myself didn't understand, because we're talking about things within the financial sector. Like, we know buying and selling. We understand that, okay? We understand basic concepts like market cap and stocks and shares and stuff to that effect. But when we start getting into things like venture capitalists versus vulture capitalists, when we start looking at things like EBITDA over EV and just different phrases that are used within the industry, it's important that I explain those things to you so that you can better understand the overall premise of this letter and what it actually means. To give you the TLDR, that too long didn't read for those of you who don't know, about this letter, there is certainly cause for concern. Something major is going to happen, and you will hear a response from eBay regarding this. So let's start by talking about who Elliott Management actually is. Elliott Management is a private hedge fund investing type company. It's Elliott Management went in and they purchased $1.4 billion worth of shares from eBay. This equates to about 4.5% of the company's entire value. Now, 4.5% is an important percentage to understand, because once you pass that, once you get to a 5% stake within a company, you actually have to apply for special paperwork and everything to that effect, because once you have a 5% share of a company, you actually earn the right to have a management seat during board meetings. Okay. So with that being said, what I believe is happening with Elliott Management is they wanted to get as close as they possibly could to that marker, and it puts them in a very, very interesting place. So I'm going to back this up just one more second. I want to make sure I have my correct notes up here right now. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. Because like I said, I've typed this up a few times. Okay. Now, the letter that eBay received from Elliott Management, someone had asked me about it earlier, and I told him it was one of the most polite middle fingers that I've ever seen in my entire life. The amount of dirt that was slung towards eBay in this letter is astounding. I strongly recommend that you actually take the time to read it if you get an opportunity to. It's about 8 pages long, and a lot of it's complex. Now, like I said, obviously you're going to get the TLDR here from me, but I would still suggest you read it. It is exceptionally well written, exceptionally poignant, and I also want to point out that this single 8-page document, to the best of my knowledge, through my calculations, I can argue that it cost anywhere between $30,000 and $50,000 just to produce this letter. And I know that seems like an astronomical number, but when we're dealing with $1.4 billion worth of shares, it's really not that crazy. So who is Elliott Management as a company? Elliott Management Corporation is an American investment management firm. It's also the largest activist fund in the world. So what is an activist fund? Activist hedge funds make a large enough investment into a company to be able to participate in the management and firm decision making. Activist funds can be looked at taking a private equity approach to the public market. They are very long-term oriented. Okay, so they're looking to play the long game with a company like eBay. Elliott Management also, it serves as the management affiliate of American hedge fund flagship Elliott Associates LP and Elliott International Limited. Now, these are the front phrases for this company, the way it's publicly displayed, but on the back end, when we do a little bit of digger deeping, when we look at the history of Elliott Management as a whole, they're certainly considered a venture vulture. Okay, so now we're going to explain the two differences, and I'm sorry again, guys, I don't want to come across as preachy, but there's so much to learn here. So we have two types of venture capitalists or venture investors. We have our venture capitalists and we have our venture vultures. Venture capitalists go after a business that does not have much funding and can use funding to help them grow to be successful. So what you want to think of is you want to think of startup companies or companies that maybe they're beyond the startup phase. They have the ability to do rapid expansion within their space. They just lack the funding necessary, and they need somebody to step up and say, you know what, I believe in this idea. I'm going to make this happen. How does this differentiate from a venture vulture? Venture vultures go after businesses that are either on the brink of bankruptcy or have large amounts of waste, or it can be streamlined to increase margins and in return make a return for its investors. So its investors, basically, what we're talking about is all the people that give Elliott Management money and say, hey, take my money, go invest it into companies, get me a return back on my money. How good are they? Well, the S&P, the stock market as a whole, people who are investing in that, they can expect on average about a 10 to 10.5% return on investment. Elliott Management, on the other hand, generates anywhere between a 14 to 16% return on investment. So people who have large amounts of money are willing to pay a little bit to have Elliott Management handle their money, and Elliott has decided to place their money within eBay. And now that their money is with eBay, they're writing this letter to try and essentially help eBay. Now, am I saying eBay is on the brink of bankruptcy? No. Okay. Is there a lot of other things that go along with venture vultures that fall in line with what's happening right now? Large amounts of waste? Yes. Can the company be streamlined to increase margins? Yes. Is there room for growth share-wise? The value per share currently, we saw a 52-week low just less than a month ago. Is there room for it to increase? Yes. Yes, there is. So that's basically the difference between the two. Now, here's the thing. They're giving the illusion that they're coming off as a venture capitalist because they've come in at 4.5%. But the reality is that they're coming in like vultures to anyone who's actually paying attention to what's going on. This is my personal belief. They're coming in hard, and they're coming in, I hate to use the word, but I think they're coming in for the kill. Now, Elliott Management does have a history of doing some very, very big things, everything from buying companies out to buying enough shares to be able to really rock things, or going in and essentially buying 100% of the shares to be able to outright buy a company off the market, strictly through the stock market. So you're asking yourself, how much would that cost? Well, right now, the market cap, which market cap is all of the available value of all the shares that are on the market right now. If they wanted to buy it, it would be $31 billion. Is that within Elliott Management's scope of ability? Yes. Yes, it is. They have that kind of money to work with. Is that what's going to happen? Again, conjecture. We're going to get to it here at the end. Okay, so there's a big plan in place right now. Okay, this is an excerpt from the letter. It says, the guiding philosophy of the plan is that eBay can unlock substantial value today by refocusing on its core business, emphasizing the right strategic initiatives, improving operations, and enhancing oversight. Management's time, the company's capital, and the board direction must be focused on growing marketplace, running efficiently, and better serving the community of buyers and sellers that made eBay great historically and that will drive its growth in the future. Boy, oh boy, how many times have we talked about things like that? About eBay returning to its core value, looking after its seller base, the people that made eBay great. Let's make eBay great again, guys. Okay, that's basically what Elliott Management is saying, which is a fantastic thing to hear, because the reality is my voice means zero to eBay. Okay, they know who I am. They know I produce videos. They know I'm within the Small Business Ambassador Network even. They know what is going on here. I've requested interviews. I've gone through all the trouble and effort to try and get my voice out there. But my opinion means absolutely diddly compared to the company that just bought 4.5% out of them, right out from under them without them even realizing it was happening. It's amazing to see this happening right now. And you know what? I think eBay's actually going to listen this time. It's a little bit crazy. So there's 5 pieces to this plan. 1, it's a portfolio review. 2, revitalizing the marketplace. 3, operational improvements and margin expansion. 4, appropriate capital allocation. Okay, we've talked about this before, about the wasteful spending that eBay has been doing on absolutely foolish things. Okay, remember VR shopping? No one wanted it. It came and went, okay? And then the last one is effective leadership and oversight, okay? And when I read that last part of the plan, the first person I thought of, Devin Wenig. That's exactly who I thought of when that part was said right there. And those of you who don't know, if you missed the eBay Revealed video, Devin Wenig is one of, or if not the head CEO for eBay, earning a $15 million a year salary right now. Okay, and when we talk about the CEOs, it's important to understand something else too. We're not talking about people like myself. Okay, I consider myself young-ish, and I know some of you out there are going to be offended by that statement. But a majority of the CEOs and executives, and majority, I'm talking over like 85 or 90% of them, are past their 50s. Okay, one thing you want to keep in mind is that as this company ages, okay, their users aren't aging as well. Okay, what we were seeing 20 years ago is we were seeing like a hip and cool, marketplace for, your 20s, 30s, 40-something-year-old people. Okay, as the CEOs are getting older, 50s, 60s, and 70s, you know what? The market's still that. A predominant number of buyers is between that 20 and 40-year-old age range. But the people who are in their 50s and 60s aren't necessarily identifying with the needs or identifying with the culture of the people who are actively using the platform and doing the majority of the buying action on the site. Now, when we look at the inverse and we look at brands like Amazon, Amazon is super on the beat of what the Gen X and millennials are looking at. They're looking at shopping convenience. They're looking for ease of access, being able to quickly get on the site, on and off, and be able to make their purchases. They're looking for consumer goods at competitive prices, shipped to them for a great price, okay? And just an overall ease and simple experience. And then lastly, value for the dollar. And they make sure that all of these key points are put front and forward. I'm not seeing that with eBay. And I understand where Elliott Management is coming from. And I'll refer to them as Elliott for the remainder of this. Apologies to those of you who come in late and don't have a clue who I'm talking about. So the portfolio review is the first part of the 5-part plan. Elliott believes strongly that eBay should separate the companies out. eBay, as we know it, is 3 major entities, okay? We have the eBay marketplace, the one that me and you and everyone else uses to buy and sell our goods. They also have StubHub, Okay, StubHub is a massive company. It's number 1 or 2 for ticket sales domestically. I think it's number 1. Ticketmaster's number 2, and it's been considered the go-to destination for tickets. That IP, intellectual property, the value of that brand is absurd. We're going to get to numbers here in a second. And then the next brand that they own is the eBay Classifieds. Now, Classified isn't just that singular eBay Classified site that you may know locally if you tried to sell something, here that you didn't want to actually put online, cars, bikes, etc. eBay Classified is an overarching brand that covers a multitude of sites around the world. So think of Craigslist here domestically. eBay owns over 100 different websites that are like Craigslist around the world, and most of their marketplaces that they have for their classifieds are 1 or 2 or 3 in their given markets globally. So these classified sites are worth a ton because we're not only looking at, ad spends for people placing ads on there, but we're also looking at a similar promoted listing type thing, equivalent to what you see for listings in San Francisco or LA here domestically, that pay per listing. So they're making a ton of money hand over fist on these IPs. Elliott believes that with eBay involved, it's actually lowering the value of these other companies. What they're saying is that if these companies were simply standalone companies and they didn't have to be bundled in with eBay, that they would actually be worth more. That's how much eBay is, I guess, looked down upon value-wise here domestically. Okay, we have to remember, eBay is a Forbes 500 company. Those of you who don't know, that means it's one of the top 500 companies. I believe it's in the world. It's insane the value of eBay, and for it to be worth as little as it's worth right now, that's a serious misstep and misguided brand as a whole when we look all the way up to the top. Next up, Elliott believes that the resources are being split further down than they need to be. Okay, basically what that means is that you only have so much you can do. You only have, so many hands that you can stick into these cookie jars. And Elliott believes that they're spreading themselves so thin that they're having to allocate resources from one brand and put it to another and move teams from here over to there. We saw the head of, internet security get moved over to payments last year. How absurd is that? Okay, this type of shuffling of manpower, and we're seeing the same thing happening with their resources across all of these brands. And basically what they're saying is that if you can stop spreading yourself so thin and just focus on the eBay marketplace, you can actually make a good run of it again. You can fix things. So when we look at StubHub right now, when it's bundled up with eBay, it's worth about $2.2 billion. It's believed that if they were to separate that entity off of the company, that it'd be worth a little bit closer to $3.5 to $4.5 billion. The same thing's true with eBay Classified, which currently is valued anywhere between $5 to $7 billion. Just nutty numbers here, guys. But it's believed that if it was separated again, as with StubHub, it could be worth $8 to $12 billion on its own. And the other thing that really rings true to this type of sentiment is the fact that eBay has tried to do some type of cross promotion and layover with their brands before, but it's not cohesive. Okay, someone like myself, who's listing items on eBay doesn't really have a whole lot of need for the classifieds on the local end. And just because I sell online doesn't really mean that I buy tickets online. I'm not necessarily an event goer. So trying to mesh these brands together has failed horribly, and there's really no rhyme or reason to it. It'd be as if you owned, a bookstore. And you said, you know what, my chain of bookstores is doing great, but let's go ahead and open up a line of steakhouses. In all reality, yes, both brands sell to consumers, but there's no reason for one company to own those two separate individual IPs and have them under the same umbrella. Now, obvious exception would be Google Alphabet. They own 101 different brands, but they were smart enough to segregate them out and say, this is its own entity, this is its own entity, this is its own entity. And they were very smart about making that a public thing. If eBay was just simply to come to the table and say, you know what, we own StubHub, but StubHub is its own thing. And we own eBay Classifieds, change the damn name, call it, Smart Classified or whatever you want to call it, and get clear brand distinction between them. Yeah, sure, you can own all of them. No problem with owning all of them, okay? But when they're all packaged in with a failing company, and yes, I consider eBay a failing company, when you have them all bundled in like that, that's when you start seeing the devaluing in the brand. So when we talk about where eBay is valued, I can say, yes, their stock price is low, but that doesn't really give you a firm grasp on how low it is. And I can sit here and say, oh yeah, eBay is trading for $30 a share when we were looking at a situation where Amazon was trading for $750 to $1,000 a share. Now, obviously they're two different brands. It's the bookstore and the the steakhouse, two different, completely different brands. But we're going to touch base on another thing right now. It's called EBITDA. Okay. That's EBITDA. Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. This is another one of those things that I was telling you that I had to take the time to learn about because I don't want to come on here and sound like a person who doesn't know what they're talking about. So I'm going to break down what that means. That way we can, have a clear multiplier, clear factorial of what exactly is wrong and why eBay is so undervalued. So we're looking at the EV over EBITDA multiple, okay, which is enterprise value to the EBITDA ratio, okay? And I'm sorry for boring you guys, okay? The EV, or the numerator, which is going to be the bottom number in this equation, is the company's enterprise value, and it's calculated by taking its market capitalization, or market cap, which is $31 billion, plus preferred shares, plus minority interest, plus debt, minus the total cash. Now we take this and we put this with earnings before or under, EBITDA, which is the earning before interest, taxes, and depreciation and amortization. It gives us our multiple. Okay, eBay is trading at 5.7 times multiple. Okay, as its multiple. What do you call it? it's EBITDA multiple. That's trading at 5.7x. Okay, now, other companies within this type of sector, this e-commerce sector, this web-based tech company, because we have to call it a tech company. That's really what it is. Historically speaking, most tech companies trade between the 15 to 20x multiple. So when we see a company like eBay, a well-established, weathered, 20, 30-year-old brand trading so low, it is a global brand worth $31 billion trading so low. This is where Elliott Management comes in and says, no, something's wrong with your company. It should be trading for twice as much. And they said in their letter that they expect that they can get eBay shares up to $58 to $61 a share. Now, when is the last time that we saw eBay at $61 a share? Does anyone remember when? It's when PayPal was still connected to eBay. And right after PayPal and eBay separated, Devin Wenig stepped up and said, we will get eBay to $60 a share again. Because if you look at the stock chart, holy cow, is it drastic. We got this nice little creep up. Okay, everything's going good. We went from $30 to $60 a share over the course of a year or two. And then PayPal separating, boom, half the value of the company fell off overnight. People got taken to Hosetown. It was insane. So when we look at this situation, okay, they're saying, okay, we can get you to $58 to $60 a share. We can get you up to a 11.4, up to a 12x EBITDA, okay, EBITDA multiple. We can get you back up there again. It kind of gets you to open your eyes a little bit. Joe is saying, so you're saying buy stock. I'm saying, okay, here's the thing, guys. Okay, I have to remind you, this show is for entertainment purposes only. I can't even call it an educational show because I can be held liable. If you have money burning a hole in your pocket, free flowing capital right now, it's a fantastic time to buy eBay stock. If you can get it for under $32 a share, it is a great time to buy eBay stock, okay? And I'll carry on a little bit further. I wanted to explain the last two parts of the EBITDA so we're all on the same page. Amortization, it's a word I didn't know. I'm sure most of you guys don't know. It's basically loaned money, okay? So like think of like a mortgage or a car payment. It's not money that you personally own, but you own the value off of what you're getting. And depreciation, we know what that means, but in the tax sense, in the financial sector, we're talking about things that have a certain shelf life. So let's say you have a printer that's good for 20,000 prints. You used 5,000 prints during your first year. You can write that depreciation off, and that's all factored in to the EBITDA value as well. So that's where it puts us. We're looking at 5.7x current EBITDA value with projections that they can get us up to 11.4 up to 12.5. Now, where is Amazon on this scale? Amazon's rated about 30x. Where's Google at on this scale? Probably about 30, 35x. Okay, so we're seeing massive disparities. Now, how does it compare to other brands, you say, non-tech sector brands? Okay, well, when we look at your traditional brand that has brick and mortars, okay, things like, Brands that own like Applebee's, Tahoe Joe's, think of like your big chain grocery stores, 7-Eleven, for instance. Brands like that, they have a higher EBITDA than eBay does. Okay? They're doing lower volume each year, yet they're worth more as a factorial, not necessarily per share, but their EBITDA is worth substantially more. Their multiplier is worth more. The value percentage-wise per share is worth more. Hello to everyone who's saying hi in the comments. Hello, Diane, as well. Mindy, Joe, appreciate it. And then, oh, yeah, thank you to our moderator, Pam, for doing, she did so much work in the background. She's the one responsible for making sure this stream goes everywhere else. Thank you to her for that. Continue on, okay? So, after this part on the letter, they took a hard stab at eBay and pointed out some of the major missteps that they made over their recent history. In 2014, we had a password breach. A lot of us don't remember that. In 2014, there was changes to Google's algorithm which greatly reduced the traffic to the site. Do you remember when we had to add UPCs to everything? Do you remember when the algorithm changed? There was a massive drop-off in sales. Even again, recently, when we look at, the end of 2018, what happened there? Why did the sales get so slow in Q4? People were reporting the worst Q4s that they've had in years. It was an issue with promoted listings, and we're going to get to that here later. We're going to touch base on that in our interview. It's going to be insane, some of the things that you're going to be learning today. Okay? And then in 2015, they had a mobile app that launched, and it was so horrendous, they immediately rolled it back. How are these things happening with a company this large? Now, this next bit right here is a verbatim from the Elliott letter, and I felt it was important to read this section in full. I feel that they touch base on so many important points, and there was no way for me to comfortably condense this down into a way that could convey the power of the words that were originally spent there. So, this is about a 2-minute read. Bear with me. Okay, defending the core values and to expand on opportunity. It is critical to recognize that eBay's sustained underperformance is not due to a lack of potential or a poor end market. Instead, we believe that eBay has missed a number of actionable growth opportunities while distracted by non-core endeavors. The lack of focus on the marketplace is clearly evidenced by eBay's expansive portfolio and prior pursuits of non-strategic areas like unified communications, Skype, enterprise software, Magento, apartment rentals, Rent.com, e-commerce operations, and many others. These have been meaningful financial disappointments in their own right, but the larger cost was the diversion of attention from marketplace. Moreover, this distraction and lack of focus is not just confined to M&A, mergers and acquisitions. eBay's major initiatives have also changed repeatedly over time, with strategic priorities evolving from big brands and retailers to structured data and now to payments and advertising. Payments and advertising, guys. Meanwhile, competitors were able to build high-growth businesses in areas where eBay should have been successful. eBay has not only lost share to Amazon in the horizontal e-commerce space, but also to a number of smaller, new challengers and point solutions in vertical spaces. eBay was the original online marketplace whose size, scale, and first mover advantage provided it with a quote-unquote right to win in key adjacencies. This was proven 20 years ago when eBay Motors showed that cars could be successfully sold online, which was far from obvious at the time. Its success was evidence that eBay was a natural platform for continued innovative expansion into new and growing markets. That same innovative energy has not been kept pace in recent years. Other successful niche category marketplaces, including Etsy with a $7 billion market cap, Wayfair with a $9 billion market cap, Reverb, Letgo, OfferUp, The RealReal, and countless others have succeeded where eBay was well positioned to win. Interestingly, many of these were started by or are currently run by former eBay executives. Accomplishments that should have been achieved within eBay. We highlight these missed opportunities as a strong indication that significant market potential remains. eBay's platform provides a truly unique forum for innovation which can and should be leveraged to expand the universe of which it is transacted on its marketplace. While we have no doubt that eBay is focused on this, we believe that more needs to be done given the stakes. We suggest that this be a board-level priority with key directors working alongside management on a plan to invest and win in new products and verticals. We believe eBay should engage in a full operational review of how it spends its development funds and undertake rigorous analysis of the ROI of the investments to ensure it is best allocating its investment, both internal development spend as well as the potential for targeted M&A. With the scale of its resources, fewer distractions, and proper attention on the matter, eBay can succeed in new growth vectors. Holy cow. Do you guys see what I mean about how eloquently put that middle finger is to eBay by Elliott Management? Okay. They came in, they came in on, Christmas Day. The turkey was out on the table, the presents were under the tree, and they just wiped wiped the turkey right off the table, took the presents, threw them straight into the fireplace and said, "Do it again. Do it right this time." Okay? Because what you're doing isn't working right now. I'm tired of seeing it happen. Everyone's tired of seeing it happen. We're tired of you wasting money, okay, and not being accountable to the people that you should be accountable. Not just the shareholders, but the end users. Why aren't you accountable, eBay? And that's what Elliott Management is really driving home. eBay has spent far too much on its advertising and has little to nothing to show for its EBITDA, continuing to decline for the last 3 straight years, quarter over quarter. You would think that if you spend more money, you can increase your market value. But the money has just been bleeding out. We're not just talking advertising dollars, we're talking the coupon dollars. Every time you get a promo code, eBay is paying for that out of pocket to not only attract buyers, but to help convert sales through. They are bleeding money like crazy on these things that are supposed to bring in new customers, but they're not doing anything to actually keep those customers. Why aren't they doing something to keep them? Why aren't they doing something to enable sellers like ourselves to keep those customers? Let me ask you this, okay? Rather than giving every single seller on the platform, every single buyer, everyone who comes to the platform a $5 coupon, why not give those $5 coupons to the sellers and say, press here and you can send those coupons to the last 30 people who bought items from you and say, hey, you bought an item off Penguin 559. That's my eBay handle. Come on back around and buy another item again. You'll save $5 off. No minimum purchase. Don't like anything he has for sale? Go anywhere on the platform. But what you're doing is you're allowing the seller to take advantage of an opportunity that eBay is giving away that you can build an actual connection with and then turn that customer into a long-standing customer. Somebody who values eBay because they see that the sellers on the platform value them as buyers. We don't value our buyers right now because it's just another cha-ching. It's just another dollar in our pockets. But I digress. I'll come full circle with my conjecture at the end. But I will say, the money that's been hemorrhaged is absurd right now. The amount that they're just simply giving away. I want to explain something here, okay? G&A. Okay, that stands for general and administrative, and we're talking about cost. The amount of money that it costs to cover your basic general stuff, stuff around the office. We need this, we need that, and your administrative, your actual labor cost. Here's the issue: eBay spends nearly the same amount on G&A as a company called Salesforce.com, a company with over 2 times as many employees. Growing 5 times as fast. Okay? So when Elliott says that there's tons of waste happening at eBay, how do you have a company that's spending 2 times as much money but growing 5 times slower? It doesn't add up. Okay? Either something's getting pinched on the inside or people are jamming their wages up far, far, far too high. But I'll tell you right now, something is wrong in the system. And something needs to be fixed. But it's an extreme amount of waste. What else did we learn during this letter? This is really, really interesting as well. I want to ask you guys, what percentage of items on eBay do you believe are new that are being sold? Go in and comment for me. What percent of items do you believe are brand new on eBay that are being sold? Give that a thought for a second. Any guesses, guys? Okay, I'm going to tell you right now. 80% of all items being sold on eBay are new, which means that only 20% of items being sold on eBay are used items. This was a massive eye-opener to me. Massive eye-opener to learn that the marketplace that I felt was still kind of how it was 10, 15 years ago when I started, that it was still this yard sale kind of community, isn't really that way anymore. I'm only about that much of it. But when we get into our next segment, you're going to learn why that might radically change overnight. Why we might see that percentage of used items go from 20% to 50%. What else do we got here? This was the final paragraph of the letter. And it was so good. It brought me so much joy to read this. And I know some of you out there do not like Devin either. I know some of you have met Devin and you do not like him. So this paragraph really might make you smile. Getting leaders... I'm talking too much, guys. Getting leadership right is only on part of, is only one part of the picture. The board must also be well positioned to provide accountability and oversight. Accountability. It's a big word, guys. eBay is fortunate to have a board that includes individuals who have decades of collective experience running industry-leading businesses. Nevertheless, given eBay's challenges and the change required to meet them, it is worth considering whether the board, as currently constituted, is best equipped to maximize the probability of success. Those of you who didn't read that the same way that I did, he's basically saying, if the people who are in there now can't get the job done, it might be time to bring some new people in. That's a hard shot being fired right there. Okay? That is a real hard shot being fired. So, I want to know, do you have any questions regarding this letter? Okay? I'm going to be covering a little bit more conjecture now that we've covered the actual root of the letter, and I hope you appreciate that comprehensive breakdown on this letter. And we're going to be talking about it more when the Q4 call comes up in 2 days? January 29th. Guarantee you, eBay will respond. eBay already did respond. They responded in letter form. They responded in letter form to all of their shareholders just the other day, saying, we've received the Elliott management letter. We know what's going on. We will follow up with a response. But I don't expect anything formal to happen until the phone call happens. And I will be sitting anxiously by. I've also reached out to Elliott Management and asked for an interview, and I've yet to get a response back. But here's to hoping that we can talk one-on-one with them. So, questions if you have any. So, what is Elliott's next move? Okay, well, I think they're going to wait to get the response, but there's a chance that they might take an actual play at eBay. Now, if Elliott Management does pull the trigger and decide to, aggressively buy out the company, okay, I don't see it getting worse. I can only see it getting better, to be completely honest. The way this letter was structured, they laid out a blueprint, and I didn't cover the entirety of the blueprint, but they laid out a blueprint that explains everything that the company needs to do to be able to get back on track. Now, why? Why did they spend all the time doing this? They even surveyed thousands of sellers, not only on eBay, but they surveyed thousands of people on StubHub, thousands of people using eBay Classified to get a real bead on what's going on. And this is where that cost came from, that $30,000 to $50,000, because the charts and the graphs and everything else that went with it. Let me see if I can get you that. Elliott Management letter. So they actually created their own website for it. I'm trying to find it really quick. Let's get it really quick for you guys. Nope, I'm not finding it. But yeah, they made their own. I think it's like eBay Consulting or something like that. But they made their own URL for the letter. If you visit facebook.com/groups/Pickers Lounge or type the tiny one, bit.ly/Bolorama. That'll lead you to our Facebook group. You can hop in there, and we'll post a letter up there later today. Definitely do that. Let me get that out the way. Okay, so a buyout. I think a buyout would be a good thing. I honest to God think it would. I think getting some new blood in there, getting some people in who are motivated to make sure that the company makes money would be a good thing. And also, ultimately, if Elliott Management does get their way and you see a doubling up in the stock value, you're looking at a company that's going to stand to make $1.4 billion. So it's in their best interest to spend this kind of money, build this type of letter, get it fired out to a company, and maybe work their way onto the management team. I think it would be a good thing. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, too, is Elliott Management is a very, very fierce company. Okay, they don't just buy out shares within companies. They work with countries. I think Argentina owes them like $600 million right now, and I think they seized a naval vessel from them because they didn't pay up on back due money. So we're talking about a very, very serious company that's working with worldly entities right now. It's kind of insane how that's happening. Give me 1 second, guys. I just realized my chat window is just a little too big. Let me size that down just a hair. There we go. What else do we have going on? As far as eBay's response, I can guarantee you it's going to be full of jargon and rhetoric and just nonsense in there. I don't think we're going to get a very clear answer from eBay, but who knows? We got 2 days to go. We got a question in from Joe. Has Elliott or any other large shareholders made any suggestions as to what to change? Yeah, no, they all those things that we talked about. We're talking about streamlining, streamlining the process of how money is spent. Too much is being just wasted right now. So cutting back on advertising cost unless it's going to be effective. Cutting back on staff cost, big time, general administrative cost. Also, reducing the usage of coupons to try and acquire new customers. More effective advertising. What else were they talking about? We had the 5-point plan that they were looking to make happen. Give me 1 second to pull this back up. Separating the company out further, getting rid of StubHub, getting rid of eBay Classified, either selling those entities on their own and then really refocusing in on the marketplace and making sure that the marketplace actually works. And then restructuring the leadership and oversight. And then also when it comes to M&A, mergers and acquisitions, making sure that they're making smart decisions about where they're spending their money. One other thing to take into account too, is that it's going to be a little while before we see the long-standing implications of this. Is there cause for concern? Certainly cause for concern. A number of things could happen, but I cannot wait till we have more information after we get eBay's official response in 2 days. It's going to be very, very interesting to see where it goes. Mindy says, used car salesman talk. That's what the last call was. It was, but you remember, I broke the heck down out of that. And if Pam wouldn't mind tossing a link up right now, I did about a 30-minute long breakdown on that Q3 conference call. And we learned the disgusting and disturbing truth of eBay working hand in hand with Chinese sellers, and some of the things that they were doing to try and circumvent some of the things happening here domestically regarding shipping laws and other stuff. So that's everything for the Elliott letters. If you have more questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. They're over here now. It's a little weird. And then if you have any other questions regarding anything else, feel free to ask those. We will answer all of the questions after our next segment. Up next, and I'm very excited about this, I had a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to sit down. Make sure I get this correct. I don't want to get anything wrong here, guys. Hold on 1 second. I sat down with Tyler Dropship Tyler. I'm so sorry. It's one of the two. It's going to be on screen here in just 1 second. eBay made some radical changes last week. Things that are going to change the way that dropshippers operate forever within the online sector, coupled with some revealing information from Amazon. On top of that, we learned some new numbers. We learned some really interesting things. So I sat down with Dropship Tyler, like I said, a fellow YouTuber, content creator, fantastic guy. And we spoke for about 30 minutes about some of these changes and what we can expect moving forward. So, with that being said, please enjoy this special presentation, and I will be back right after it's over. Welcome again, everyone, to another special presentation. Last time we had a guest on, we talked about changes that were happening to tax policy in Europe, and today we have a special guest by the name of Tyler, who runs his own YouTube channel as well as a website regarding the topic of dropshipping. And it comes to no surprise to anyone, me being a hand-sourcing type person myself, that I know very little about the topic of dropshipping, and with it being so relevant with all the changes happening with eBay, even some changes that are happening with Amazon as well, I felt it best to bring on someone who I'm willing to admit, knows more than me on this topic. Tyler, thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to share, my knowledge base with your audience.
Yeah, and there is a whole lot to be learned from the other side. I'm sure you've seen our show before. Everyone that we speak with, we're talking about going to thrift stores and yard sales, swap meets, finding our items one at a time. Every now and then we'll work with some people who are finding pallets, or they're going to auctions and they're getting like closeout deals or stores closing, but you do things completely different. You take a little bit of that retail arbitrage, but you take it much, much further. Tell people a little bit about who you are and what you do exactly.
Yeah, so again, my name's Tyler. I run a YouTube channel, Dropship Tyler, and I've been doing dropshipping on eBay now for a little over 2 years. I was able to quit my job 6 months after I started, so a year and a half ago, I actually went full-time with dropshipping. And how the model actually works is you're taking items that you don't actually own, and you're finding them at retail sites, so Amazon or Walmart, Overstock. Just a few, for example. Obviously, there's tons of retailers out there that you can source from. But you're taking those items and you're listing them on eBay as if you have that item in possession. Once that item sells, you're actually going to the retailer and you're shipping directly from the retailer to the customer. So you're basically just a middleman forwarding the information to the retailer. Customer gets the item. Everyone asks what happens when they see the receipt in the box. 99.9% of the time, the customer doesn't complain. The end of the transaction happens once the item's delivered. Again, you have to act as the middleman through the whole way. So if a return happens, you have to go to the actual supplier, get the return label, relay all the information from the buyer to the retailers, and handle customer service yourself. So basically, you're just a middleman handling customer service.
Now, from the outside looking in, one of the questions that I've been asked in regards to drop shipping is, it's kind of broad, and it doesn't mean to sound derogatory either. What is the point of you acting as a drop shipper if these prices are available for consumers elsewhere?
So that's the question I get a lot. Why don't people just go to Amazon or go to Walmart or other sites like that? And the truth of the matter is, they're bad at shopping, and they like shopping on the eBay platform. So in a sense, from some people's eyes, it may be an unethical business model because, you could be viewed as taking advantage of some shoppers. But at the same time, if you look at a lot of these big box retailers, they're drop shipping too. They're just doing it from wholesalers rather than another retail site itself. So, we're just adding another markup in the whole process of the order fulfillment. So, again, you could probably find a lot of items cheaper at Home Depot or if you're shopping at Home Depot, I'm saying you may be able to find better deals elsewhere. And, as a dropshipper, you're not marking up the product that much because of competition. Obviously, you're still marking up the item, but you're not, making somebody pay double for it, right? The market is the market, and there's going to be people that come in and undercut you and all of that. So one of the things, too, I found as a dropshipper, my prices are not that much higher than the sources I'm getting them from because of the fact, I'm making sure I use coupons and cashback websites and discounted gift cards and things like that where I'm finding a lot of my margin rather than just taking my margin directly from the customers. But sorry if that was a long answer.
No, it makes complete sense. And another thing that I want people to understand is that it's not a super simple process. There are a lot of things that can go wrong in the pipeline, such as inventory running dry and situations where drop shippers either have to deal with canceling an order or they end up having to come out of pocket to be able to fulfill an order at a higher market price. There are a lot of things that can happen. So I don't want anyone to, be watching this now and be like, man, he's just jamming the price up and turning a quick buck. I know there's a lot that goes into being able to maintain these listings and maintain all the customer inquiries and stuff like that as well. So I personally don't harbor any negative feelings to drop shippers because I tell people all the time, it's our job to sell and it's the buyer's job to buy. We can't do both ends. And if a drop shipper is able to succeed where they're at, they have done something right on their end to either reduce the cost on their end or to be able to deliver a competitive price to the consumer for them to be able to complete a transaction. Because at the end of the day, you aren't putting a gun to anyone's head and saying, buy my listing, buy my price. They're doing it of their own free will, entering in their credit card information, agreeing to the price for said product, and then it's your job to fulfill that product for them. So, and as you were saying, there's stores like Office Depot. You go to Office Depot right now, and their website has 30,000 available listings, okay? And I guarantee you 15,000 of those are not ones that they carry within their warehouse. They're simply doing drop shipping. And same thing happens with Walmart. You remember 6 months ago we heard about those Trump t-shirts. And then we got to hear a little bit more about how those were coming from a third-party site. It wasn't inventory that they carried. Same exact thing happening there. So I hold no ill feelings towards it. So now that we kind of got a bead on drop shipping, how it works, the pros, the cons, yada, 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 there's been some big changes that have happened with eBay. All the way far as back as March, we saw our first dabble to the changes on the terms of services happening, talking about how they were trying to step away from people using eBay as a platform for drop shippers. And as of recent, we've started seeing people getting the letters talking about how they've been banned. And you yourself, you've experienced some of this stuff. Could you tell me a little more about that?
Yeah, correct. So the big day for dropshippers when everything became a lot more difficult was the exact day was April 20th. That's when the algorithm change happened. And what eBay's system actually has done is they've been able to identify dropshippers, and we call it flagging. So if you're flagged as a dropshipper, they're actually suppressing your listings in the search rank. And instead of, showing up on page 1, now you're showing up on page 5. Or they've actually changed the terms of service even more now, where they can say that your items won't even show up in the search ranking at all. So you could have, thousands and thousands of listings, and you could not be getting any impressions at all due to the fact that eBay's terms of service now allows them to do pretty much whatever they want to a flagged dropshipper's account. And recently, they've sent out a letter to me, and there's a lot of speculation going on as to whether or not, having a YouTube channel and teaching these methods and things like that kind of led to all of this happening. But my main accounts on eBay actually received a letter saying that I was banned because of retail dropshipping. There was only one other person, and I knew the person personally, that received this letter. Out of everybody in the community, this exact letter I'm talking about. People have been suspended in the past. We talked a little bit about this before we got on. People have been suspended in the past, especially foreign sellers. They get the MCO on one. eBay wants them to prove inventory, prove identity, things like that. And if they can't do that, then eBay's not going to open their account up. This was an indefinite selling restriction. So they also used the wording at the bottom that any appeals that come through would be automatically denied. So there was no point in me even trying to appeal their decision. And again, part of it, it's a lot of speculation, but I do think eBay watches YouTube, and I do think that because of the business model that I'm doing and teaching, they could have been sending a message to.
So let me ask. Now there's some baseline concerns that eBay has regarding this. You, from your perspective, you have a very, very unique perspective that probably nobody else watching this, unless they're specifically dropshippers, will have. What do you feel that eBay's motivations behind this decision are? Because at the end of the day, when you dropship an item and it sells through eBay, they collect their fees all the same, whether you own the item or not. So what do you feel their motivations are for that?
I think they're worried about users' experience. Some of the different reps have come up with some crazy statistics. There was one rep telling me that every time an order gets canceled, customers lost, like based on their data. So one cancellation equals one customer lost. And so they're worried about, like you said, with inventory not always being updated on time, because we use software to track inventory and scrape the retail sites, and then it updates our stock and it updates our prices and things like that on eBay. If the software can't catch an item, then you have to like when it goes out of stock, then you have to cancel the order on the customer if you can't find it elsewhere. And eBay allows up to 2% cancellations, but at the same time, they clearly are taking a stance against dropshippers where that rule doesn't apply to them. If they feel like you've canceled X amount of orders and you're losing them, X amount of customers, then you're done. It's not a percentage anymore for dropshippers, I feel like. It's just some arbitrary number that they have come up with. That's, for example, I do 6,000 orders a month. I had 60 orders canceled in December out of those 6,000 orders. That's 1%. And an eBay rep actually told me that was one of the reasons my account was canceled. Another eBay rep told me that it was because of Vero issues, the Verified Rights Owner program. Another one told me it was because of counterfeit. It was just a lot of different excuses coming up with, what eBay was actually telling me the reason my account was banned. But so
now let me ask you, were you working with Concierge, or were you just calling into whatever call center you got on the other side of the planet?
I work, I have Anchor stores. I had at one point 50,000 listings on eBay. So I was working with Anchor stores, the higher up support. I feel like they have better answers than just the typical customer service that you call in. But at the same time, I feel like they are also being told by eBay to say a lot of different things to dropshippers and not really, give the full truth on things. But yeah, that's who I was working with, was Merch support.
Okay. I kind of understand where eBay is coming from, in the sense that keeping customers on board is very, very important, especially when you have a company that's bleeding as much money as they are right now. Stock values are at an all-time low, and we're seeing things. One of the complaints that I've been hearing is that eBay customers are receiving their boxes and they have the Amazon smile on the side of them, and it just creates a certain level of brand confusion. And people want to be able to, or at least eBay is giving us the impression that consumers want to be able to go to the site, order an eBay item, receive either eBay packaging or vanilla packaging, just something more towards the traditional eBay experience. What are your thoughts in regards to that? Do you feel there's any validity to those claims?
I mean, I could see it. If it was my business, I could see it. But at the same time, there's a huge inventory gap that dropshippers are filling. There's a lot of sellers that don't sell on the eBay platform, but they sell on the Amazon platform. And, as a dropshipper, I'm filling that inventory gap. And eBay's trying to move more towards an Amazon model with their warehouses that they're now offering, and the eBay fulfilled services, all of that. It's funny you mentioned the Amazon box, because actually one of the reps told me at the eBay Open this past summer, one of the executives ordered a product from eBay, and it came in an Amazon box, or not this summer, 2 summers ago. So in 2017, and it came in an Amazon box. And after that point, they decided they needed to start taking action and clean up their platform of these dropshippers. So I feel like if that situation had never happened, maybe things would be a little bit different now. Because again, now that exec, if they have the old mindset, an old timer's mindset, in my opinion, because that's really how I feel they're thinking about it. They're not thinking about it from a current day perspective, where, like I'm saying, we're filling an inventory gap, we're paying for insertion fees, we're giving eBay a ton of revenue that wouldn't be there, and people would be shopping other places anyway because the inventory would be so limited on eBay itself. I would argue that because of the amount of listings that eBay dropshippers actually have on the site, I would argue that dropshippers actually account for probably more than half of the total listings on eBay.
So you think it's that many listings?
I think it's that many listings.
I can tell you right off the bat that 80% of all listings on eBay are brand new items, sealed, not used. And this is a huge, huge turnover from when we look at 20 years ago, when we were looking at something like 90% used and 10% new. So we're obviously, there's a big change happening here. So you're willing to say that half of the items on eBay right now are dropship items?
Based on the information I know about the big dropshippers I talk to and the software companies that are managing thousands and thousands of eBay accounts with tens of thousands of items, it wouldn't surprise me at all if it was more than 50% of all inventory on eBay.
So we're looking at something like 500 million listings, give or take.
Yeah, I mean...
that is an insane amount. That is absolutely nutty. So let me ask, okay, with these changes happening, one, the timing is a little bit weird. I don't know if you have any information as far as like why now, but what do you think the long-term effects, not only on eBay, but outside of eBay, for drop shippers, for people who are selling the software, for businesses like Walmart, what do you think the long-term effect would be of a decision like this?
Well, to be honest, there's going to be it's going to be harder for people to get into e-commerce that want to get in, because this is the lowest barrier to entry business model online, in my opinion, that you can actually generate money from day one and make money from day one. So there's going to be a lot less people getting into e-commerce and being successful with it, because obviously, FBA and all of that, you have to have money up front. Drop shipping, there's no money up front, and you do it all from a computer. So that's the effect on the actual people running their dropshipping businesses. Obviously, softwares are then going to get hurt. And I'll talk a little bit about in a second on the way that softwares are actually shifting their business models too, and the way they're doing things on eBay. But yeah, it's interesting because just there's a group of us that we all talk on Skype. We all have our accounts run by the same virtual assistant team in the Philippines. And out of these 15 people, we bought around $80 million in products from Walmart last year and had them shipped to customers on Amazon. So there is a lot of revenue being done on Walmart, or purchases from Amazon, whatever, that go to eBay or go to Amazon. So it could be interesting, too, that these retail sites may see a drop in sales if their items can't be arbitraged as easily as they are now onto other platforms. One thing I think eBay's stock is going to plummet if they ever go full effect on their policies where they suspend all dropshippers. Again, because I said that the inventory is so huge, just the insertion fees alone are probably insane just from all of those listings, And yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to have a negative effect.
Let me ask you another question too. This is kind of a big one as far as revenue is concerned for eBay. Now, of you and just the 14, 15 other people that are communicating together, are any of you using promoted listings to try and increase your click-through or sell-through rate on eBay currently?
So this group is specifically Amazon dropshipping, but in my eBay group, I run in a lot of different circles. I've met a lot of different people who do what I do. And on eBay, the big thing is if you're flagged as a dropshipper, your promoted listings doesn't work. And eBay has the right to do that. So if you look at people's accounts, and this started happening November 1st, is when literally the day that all the impressions were lost or went to zero on that day. And people were calling in. I was calling in. Owners of softwares were talking to the higher-ups they knew in eBay. Everyone in eBay was saying it was a glitch, and it needed to be fixed and all of this. And now they're saying it's because they can put a restriction on your account because you're a dropshipper. So that flag is a restriction marker where, yeah, your promoted listings does not work. And the reason behind that was because a lot of dropshippers were using the promoted listings, and then they were getting, 10 of the same item all in the same area for the promoted listing section of a certain item. And I feel like eBay thought that was confusing buyers, having that many different listings of, to choose from in that section. But yeah, that took a huge hit on the dropshipping community when promoted listings stopped working, because that was kind of the way to get around eBay's algorithm change where they were ranking dropshippers lower. You just use a higher promoted listings, and now you can get more promoted listing sales rather than organic sales. So yeah, it was a pretty big blow.
Okay, so we're looking at a blow to eBay's bottom line as far as insertion, we're looking at a serious blow as far as final value fees for sell-through, because if we're talking, 500 million listings that, even let's just say 10-20% of them sell on a year-over-year basis, that's a massive, absolutely, incalculable amount of revenue that they're going to lose from that, and the promoted listings as well. So they're going to be losing money on 3 different ends by making this decision, all in this pseudo effort to try and retain a handful of customers. These customers that may have been otherwise turned away by a single canceled transaction that somebody wasn't able to fulfill. It kind of seems a little bit foolish. I guess that's the best way to put it. So let me ask, for dropshippers on eBay, are you going to continue to try and find creative ways, and are others, do you feel, going to try and find creative ways to be able to continue to press forward on the platform doing what you've been doing for the last 2 years?
So here's what's interesting about the eBay dropshipping model right now is there's a way to get around the flagging system, and I was teaching that on my YouTube channel, and I'll talk a little bit about that here, but I think that's part of the reason that eBay, if they do watch YouTube, and again, this is all speculation, but if they do watch my YouTube channel and they realize that I was teaching people this method, and I had an account that I was showing that I grew literally from zero sales, a brand new account, kept it unflagged for 3 months, promoted listings was working, everything like that, and then that's when I got banned after that. But the way to do it is doing a manual eBay store is what we call it, and what that means is attaching no software to it. So the way that eBay flags the actual dropshipping accounts themselves is because eBay knows what the softwares are doing that's using their API, the integrations. So they have basically a blacklist of all of these softwares, and you have to have permission to use eBay's API, obviously. And they actually banned a couple softwares and banned people's accounts that were using the API in I guess against the way that eBay agreed they could. So, for example, the software that I use is called SaleFreaks, and SaleFreaks has the largest API call of any software that the eBay developer program has. So, and eBay knows exactly that they're a retail arbitrage software. But at the same time, you're using that software, now you're getting flagged. And you have to find a strategy that's going to be profitable even when you are that low in the search ranking, which can be difficult for a lot of people. Again, the way to get around that is create a manual store from day one. You never use any software. So the risk of this is, the item goes up in price. You don't have a software changing the price for you now. Or if an item goes out of stock, you don't have a software doing that. But what's interesting now is there's softwares that are coming out that actually help you run a manual store. So these softwares are adjusting as well as the actual dropshippers. So they're using CSV files, and they're using the file exchange to reprice items and make the changes to out of stocks, things like that, rather than now sending information directly through eBay's API. So it's actually a way to undermine what eBay's trying to do with dropshippers. And one of the reasons I feel like they haven't felt the full effects of what they're doing with their flagging system right now is because there are a lot of people running manual stores at this point, because people know that this is a way to get around it. And it's not like the demand changed overnight, right? So there's still buyers looking for these items on the platform, but instead of the big dropshippers that were dropshipping, thousands and thousands of items, now it's the people running the small manual stores that are getting all of the sales. I had 18 items on my manual store and was getting over $300 a day in sales on 18 items. So just to give you perspective, there's people who have 10,000 items who are dropshipping who do $1,000 in sales a day. So the 18-item store, it's insane how many. Granted, I did do the product research and all that, but it doesn't matter that much. There's no way that a new store should be doing that kind of volume based on what we've seen in the past. And it's because of the fact I was ranking higher than all of the flag dropshippers because of my manual account. But,
and that's some very important insight, and I appreciate you sharing that. And now that was another thing that eBay had touched base on too, was software specifically. And eBay generally doesn't come out and openly talk about like the specifics as far as, the changes that they're making. They kind of shy away from that. They kind of use blanket neutral type statements, but they said, we don't want people using that type of software on the site anymore, because they're really trying to separate from it. Now, when we look at Amazon's perspective, we look at the, from the other side, Amazon's policies regarding this are kind of straightforward in the sense that, we kind of understand what's going on, but do us a favor, don't use your Prime account to drop ship items from Amazon to eBay, which is a whole other thing where people are, doing the same thing and they're collecting the margins. And for those of you who don't know, we're talking like cashback, coupon codes, promo type stuff that's all being used in conjunction to either have a margin, because some items have virtually no margin. You're buying it for 45, you're selling it for 45, but you're catching that percent in between, and then or to increase the margin on another item. Now, let me ask, do you see a day where Amazon actually strongly enforces this and they start flagging or stopping sellers with multiple gift receipts, or do you think they're going to sit back and say, we're getting paid, why not? What do you think the stance is going to be on that?
So their stance has actually become a lot looser over the past year. So they used to shut down accounts. They don't shut down accounts anymore because I think Amazon's come to realize that they're just going to keep having people do this. And I think instead of people just creating new accounts every time, because there's ways around everything, right? Like people are using student primes and, whatever. But yeah, I think Amazon's kind of adapted to where they are allowing people to do the drop shipping. Like they know it's happening. I did 40,000 transactions last year on like 4 different Prime accounts, like 40,000 total. So they know. I mean, it's not like someone's just going to buy 10,000 items unless they have a serious shopping addiction. And the thing is, they don't mind. Like if you don't abuse their return system or anything like that, and they'll catch you. I mean, they'll stop letting you do returns. They'll start asking for photos. They'll do all whatever. They're not going to let people abuse their return system. They're going to let you buy, and if you're acting as a normal shopper and you're not scamming Amazon in any way, then they just see you as another shopper, I think. I mean, or at least you're helping them spread the Amazon brand, at least when it comes in a box to an eBay buyer. But yeah, I don't work for Amazon, so I can't say that that's exactly how they feel. But just based on what I've observed over the last year, I can say that I have not heard of a single account being closed that's being legit.
Okay. And one last thing, and I appreciate you sharing that. One last thing before I let you go. What are your thoughts and feelings regarding the usage of sites like Alibaba and other similar ones for drop shipping on eBay? What do you think is going to be happening with that? And then what are your thoughts as far as developing your own relationships with businesses and then handling drop shipping, on a one-to-one, business to business, which is still technically allowed on eBay?
So your first point, the Chinese sellers that are selling from AliExpress or their own stock directly from China, it's very interesting to me because there's a lot of dropshippers on eBay where I see a product that's like $2.99 plus free shipping, and then I see it's coming from Texas or California, and I'm just like, there's no way that that's possible. That's not the location of the item. Like so I feel like, and these guys have gotten away with it. They have tens of thousands of feedback. So eBay. And
I bought an item last week. I bought one of these little circle spotlights for when I'm doing, just a real quick shoot with somebody, and it said that it was from Southern California. And then after I place my order, I see it's 9 to 11 days out, and I see an international tracking number, and I was immediately upset. I said, why did I pay the extra $2 so that I could be told that it was going to be coming from Southern California? After it arrived, I opened up a case and I got a full refund because it was not the experience that I was expecting, and I felt that I guess that type of feeling that some people, who aren't within the ecosystem would feel almost like they had been wronged. So I kind of get where the consumer is coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I can look at a seller and immediately tell if they're a Chinese seller using a wrong item location. And it's pretty ridiculous that eBay's allowing them to get away with it. The way I actually found your channel was, my buddy sent me the video that you did.
Tell him thank you.
Yeah. So my buddy sent me that video, and I just was like, yeah, this makes total sense, because I see this every day when I'm doing product research.
So people know we're talking about the eBay. You can get to it bit.ly/eBay revealed, and we talked about the relationship between eBay and Chinese sellers and onshoring products. Let me ask you this too, just from my own perspective, my own inquiry. Did you know about that Orange Connex relationship and Citibank and all of that stuff before watching that video? Because when I was researching it, it blew my mind.
No, I had no idea, and it does seem like there's something there that somebody should investigate. That's very sketchy. So
yeah,
I don't know what we need to do to get that video viral, but
yeah, I think if the FTC saw that, they might raise a brow at it for sure. And we made some pushes. I have a friend within the group who's trying to get that video all the way up the RNC pipeline so that people all the way at the top could see it. And we made as big of a push as we could, but hopefully we can get the right eyes on it. And I didn't mean to take away from what you're talking about. Please continue on though.
And just to add to your point there, one of the things I was thinking about was do one of those petition whitehouse.org things. And having the reseller community and the dropshipping community and just a lot of different eBay communities, share that, so that if it gets 100,000 signatures somehow, then it is a way that they have to review it. So that was one of the thoughts that I had on that as well.
And I'd back you on that idea. I would definitely make sure that got some attention and that got some traction for sure. So we were talking about the AliExpress. We were talking about that. What are your thoughts on the future for people doing that, and then your thoughts on building one-on-one relationships with other vendors?
Yeah, so in terms of the AliExpress stuff, I mean, if it's going on now and it's still going on even after eBay's changed their terms of service and stuff, I feel like they're going to just keep letting it happen. I mean, it's a lot of their transactions because a consumer gets on eBay and they see that cheap price and they're just going to buy it, and eBay's making their money, and I guess you were able to get a refund, but even when you get a refund, the eBay seller's paying for it, so it's not like eBay actually, loses anything on that, but
they still get their fees and everything.
Yeah, exactly. If the case is closed without the buyer actually refunding, or the seller refunding you, then yeah, they still get their fees and all of that for sure. But in terms of working with actual vendors, that is my plan now. I actually had a call. I went to the affiliate summit in Vegas like 2 weeks ago, and I met a vendor out there who has like 2.5 million different SKUs that I could potentially use for eBay and Amazon, and I had a call with him on Monday. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely, that's something I'm looking into, and I think in terms of more security, that's the route I need to go. I told you a little bit
how does eBay differentiate your account with permission access to 2.5 million SKUs from Joe Blow making, turning my seasoned account, 5K seller feedback, all hand sourced, and deciding I want to turn this into a dropship operation? How does eBay tell the difference between the two? Do you feel there's going to be issues there as well?
I mean, they're going to be asking for contracts, I feel like, just like Amazon asks for wholesale contracts and supplier contracts. But you're right. I mean, it may raise some suspicions to them when they look at an account that has tens of thousands of items and all stock photos. Because right now, obviously, if you see stock photos, I would say 99% of the time they're doing retail dropshipping as of right now. Just because that's been the more popular business model on eBay as opposed to wholesale dropshipping. But there are still some wholesalers out there that are using stock photos. And yeah, I don't know. They're just going to have to ask for contracts, in my opinion.
That's pretty crazy. So before we let you go, and again, I want to thank you for being here, is there anything that you want to let the people know about? Obviously, you have your YouTube channel, but is there any other thoughts and feelings about this drop shipping that we haven't covered that you want people to know about?
I just want to say that if you're going to get into drop shipping right now, and it's something that interests you in a business model, just go the manual route. Don't go the software route to start. And if you want to go the software route, create a totally separate account, that's maybe in a family member's name, keep them completely separate. But if you're going to start the model, go manual. Don't let eBay realize you're a dropshipper. That's pretty much all I got to say about that.
That's fantastic. And how can people get in touch with you? You've been fantastic. Tell them about your YouTube channel and any other content. I went to your website, too. Good-looking website. I like what you got going on there. But let people know how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so my YouTube channel is Dropship Tyler. And on that channel, I talk about my Amazon and eBay dropshipping businesses, as well as I'm throwing in Bonanza into the mix now. Kind of a small platform, not a lot of traffic, but it's still interesting. And so if you want to go there, comment there. I read and reply to most of my comments. Also, Dropship Tyler on Instagram. That's probably the easiest way to actually message me if you have questions about anything. And then I also have a website, ecomscholars.com, if you want to go there and check out my free ebook on dropshipping.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Tyler, for all of this amazing information. I know there's going to be a ton of questions from everyone after this airs. Hopefully we'll see you back in the comments, and nothing else, we'll see you over at your YouTube channel. So thank you once again for coming on, and it was great talking with you today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What an interview that was. One more time, and I apologize for getting the name wrong earlier. It is Dropship Tyler. Definitely make sure you go check out his channel. We got a fancy little icon now, too. Make sure you go subscribe to his channel, too. It's important to subscribe to him. And if you haven't, subscribe to this channel as well. Do us a favor, too. If you haven't done so yet, drop a like on this video. It definitely helps us out with what we're doing. Definitely make sure that other people get to see it as well, so please make sure you do that. But yeah, Dropship Tyler, fantastic content creator. He's been very transparent with what he's doing. And we talked about transparency before. That's one of the biggest issues that a lot of people have with platforms like eBay is the lack of transparency and the lack of accountability. Like I said, there's a lot of people that are going to be affected by what's happening. It's not just sellers on my end, okay? Sellers like me and you, for instance. We need to look at the bigger effect. What about all the RA, retail arbitrage type sellers? People who are going out and buying stock from stores, bringing it home, putting it online. Are we going to have to start saving our receipts? Are our receipts, just like with Amazon, remember when receipts were good enough and now you need letters from the manufacturers to be able to sell those products? What is going to happen with the future? And like I said, there's a lot of changes happening right now, so it's important that programs like this exist so that we can keep our finger on the pulse. I also want to say one more time, thank you to Dropship Tyler for being on the show. I want to mention, too, that in 2 weeks' time, okay, next week we're not going to be on Super Bowl Sunday. I don't like the Super Bowl. I just remember last year no one showed up. So next week we are taking a week off, but the following week we are going to have Joe Rensing with Conway Resale coming on the show. We are going to be talking about the flood of Amazon products coming into the open market, all of the categories that are getting blacklisted and gated right now, and the effect it's going to have on the market as a whole. So you're definitely going to want to tune in for that, because all of this plays hand in hand. We're seeing, I'll tell you right now, this is going to be one of the most pivotal months for resellers. This coming, I'd say 90 days. This is going to be the most impactful 90 days that we're going to have seen, looking back 5 years and looking forward 5 years. This is it right now. Massive changes to drop shipping, massive changes to gating, massive changes to eBay policy, eBay payments, eBay promoted listings. You know, another thing that I didn't mention in that Elliott letter, they didn't talk, or they did talk about the fact that there's no applicable usable data that can be gained for consumers to make decisions as far as using promoted listings. I wonder where they got that idea from. I wonder who put that idea in their head that sellers can't tell whether or not we should be spending money on promoted listings. But that being said, we just need more transparency. And when we look forward to the future, we have to realize that it's more than just eBay. It's more than us. We're going to see an impact on the eBay brand as a whole. We could see a reduction as many as... Now, I know 50% seems far-fetched, but we're going to see a significant drop in available listings, which in turn could lower the customer experience. Customers are now habituated to buying new items on eBay. 80% of sold items are new. Now, here's the thing about that 80% figure. I can almost guarantee you of that 80%, probably 80% of that is less than $10 items. We're talking about that cheap and chintzy stuff coming in from China. It's going to be interesting to see how much of that actually gets kind of pushed back, kind of gets stopped as well. We also have to look at the other effects that it can have on things like USPS, the workers, the employees, and stuff to that effect. Brands like Walmart, brands like Amazon, cross-platform drop shippers who are going the other direction from eBay to Amazon, as crazy as that might sound. This is going to be a crazy 90 days. I'm going to catch up here on comments right now. Let me get a drink really quick, too. You think I would have been responsible enough to do that during the interview? Okay. So, the big thing here, too, and we talked about this earlier. We talked about brands losing touch with their consumer base. Oh boy, we're seeing this across a lot of brands right now. We're seeing it happen with YouTube. We're seeing it happen with Patreon, which we're going to talk about here in a second for obvious reasons. We're a Patreon-funded program. We see it even happening with Tumblr. We're seeing CEOs and executives making decisions that they believe is in the best interest of the brand. But the reality is it's in the best interest of the brand shareholders, in the sense that they want to give the shareholders what they want. They want a clean platform. They want a platform that's going to be free of conflict, free of issues, social issues, political issues. They want to avoid all of that stuff like the plague. But at the same time, they end up compromising the actual user of said product. Okay, last week somebody asked me about the whole Patreon fiasco, and I said I would comment on it. I ran out of time last week, but we're seeing the same thing happening right now. eBay is losing touch with its consumer base. Okay, the actual people that make the platform work, the 20% of us, putting up our used goods onto the site, that makes eBay the unique marketplace that it is. So I think that's all my conjecture on all of that, looking through some of the comments. And thank you to Dropship Tyler for sticking around and listening to all the comments and responding to them as well. If you haven't done so, please make sure you like, subscribe to both me and him. It is greatly appreciated. And while I got you guys, I'm going to plug Patreon real quick. See these quick links over here? One of them is really important. This third one down. Now, obviously, saving money on your shipping is important, but this third one right here, patreon.com/Bolorama. Okay, what is that? It's a way for people like you to help support people like me. This show right here, okay, I only am able to do this because of those names. See those names scrolling down there? We got Rachel M., Georgia K., Ryan K., and I know all the first and last names of all these people. These are people who've decided to take some of their money and pass it to me to help support this program. That includes the lights, the studio, the microphone, the program that I'm on right now, the computer that I'm on right now, and the time that I take to research these stories. I invested 30 hours into this week's show to make sure that I could give you accurate and factual information. And not only that, I'm not just here to give you the news, I'm here to give you practical selling advice. We are opening up the lines right now for your questions. If you have any questions regarding being a reseller, pricing, shipping, customer resolutions, you name it. If you have a question, now is a fantastic time to drop it in the comments. We will get it answered. I am your resident e-commerce and shipping expert. And if you want to sign up to be a patron, okay, it will help us out a ton, and we're even going to give you a thank you gift as well. You're going to get these wonderful, and now see how part of that's transparent. Forgive my background, okay? You're going to get these wonderful thank you cards, okay, for your customers. You're going to get 500 of these shipped directly out to you for your patronage for helping our show succeed, okay? These thank you cards have our information for our group. If you'd like, we can make some without it, but it helps us grow. It helps you learn. It's a win-win. And you get 500 of those shipped out just for being a patron. On top of that, you're going to get one-on-one direct access to me via Facebook if you have any questions. And everyone in the comments knows I am one of the fastest people to respond to concerns that anyone has. I was up last night, 10 o'clock, responding to someone's questions regarding customer resolution for a local pickup situation. And there I was, ready to help out. So, rain or shine, I'll be there for you. And you get access to our group chat, which is a 24/7 community of resellers where you can communicate with everyone online. So, one last time, guys, if you haven't done it yet, visit our Facebook group too, bit.ly/Bolorama. You can get plugged into the community. You can help us out. This is as cheap as 50 cents a day to help support the show, guys. 50 cents a day is nothing. Okay, and you can help me fulfill my dream of becoming a YouTube content creator full time, and that would be absolutely fantastic. So thank you to everyone who is all the patrons down there. It means an absolute ton to me. So now that we've got all of the heavy stuff out of the way, we can get to everyone's favorite part of the show. Jay, what did you get this week? Okay, this was an eventful week. I did something that I did for the very first time. Okay, one, we're going to be showcasing 2 to 3 new categories of items that I don't think I've ever shown on the show before, and I'm very excited to showcase them. Every time I get to show a new category, it makes me happy because I feel like I'm getting to share something that could be brand new for you, and I'm getting to show a little bit more of the range of items that I'm comfortable working with, and I hope in turn that makes you more comfortable working with that range of items as well. Because buying items in a category, whether you can even find the price or not, being willing to gamble a couple of bucks and take the learning experience, sometimes we pay for the education, and sometimes people come here and they get it for free. Okay, so we got a little bit of everything there. And on top of that, I went to a swap meet 2 days in a row, which I've never done before. I went to it back to back. I had some extra time this morning, so I said, you know what, I'm going to go back to that same swap meet again today. I just want to see different vendors. Did I find more stuff? Was it any good? I don't know. We're going to take a look at everything that I got, and it's not as robust as last week, but it is interesting to say the least. First up, this massive black bag. Okay, and I've got a lot of this stuff. I can hear Daniel downstairs. Quiet with the plates, Daniel. So you take a look at some of these items real quick. CatCon says, sorry, a bit of constructive criticism. I like the old background better. Not sure how everyone else sees it, but it's a bit busy for me. I like when you have the green screen off. I appreciate the constructive criticism. We're trying some stuff out. You know, it makes things a little bit more interactive. We're just trying to get people to stick around and retain a little bit longer. But, you know, we can switch it up here maybe in the future. We'll take a little poll and see what everyone thinks. But this giant bag, guys. How often is it you go to the swap meet and you actually find something that you're looking for? It's not often for me, I'll tell you that much. Some of you guys know what this is right off the bat, okay? We got some soundproofing panels, and this is actually something that I really wanted for the studio. Now, I know you just commented on the green screen, okay? Here's the thing, guys. I want to have an actual studio behind me. This office is hyper limiting as far as what I can really do with it. But now that I have these soundproofing panels, I was actually considering restructuring the office and getting away from the green screen format. Now I can still have the chat on screen, but you know, I hate to sound like I'm picking for money here, but I was hoping for a little bit more funding or to hit another milestone with Patreon before I started upgrading the studio further, because it's just very, very expensive. I was fortunate enough to get some of these soundproofing panels, though. These things are not cheap. If I went online to buy these soundproofing, this is a pack of 12 right here. This is a pack of 12 right here, and these are normally about $30 to $35, maybe even $40 to have these shipped. There's one pack right there, and then we've got another one. Oh, this is actually a denser pack. This is a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. This is a pack of 24. So this one right here would probably be a little bit closer to the $40 mark. Okay. That's just 2 of the bricks that I got. I have 2 more bricks inside of the next item, okay, which we're going to be looking at. For these bricks, I paid $2 a pop, which is an absolutely insane value. So a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll take those soundproofing panels and they'll just line them up against their wall. They'll use the cross colors. They'll make a little checkered pattern. It makes for a really, really good, interesting background with a little bit more character to it. And then I'd be able to get away from the whole green screen thing. I don't know. We'll see if it works. Maybe I'll try it. It's just a big, big, massive design thing, because a lot of things too that people don't realize is that I have lights here in front of me too. I have lights, and then I have one monitor here, and then I have another monitor above here. And I'm using all of this space to be able to use the production. I have a switchboard here. I have a microphone there, picking up the PC audio. Then I also have another microphone here. So any type of rearranging is a massive undertaking, but trust me when I say this. I had expected that funding would have gotten to a much higher point by now. You know, as sad as it is to say, you know, I mean, I'm super thankful for where we're at. I just expected things to have gotten a little bit further, and it's kind of boxed me in as far as what I'm able to do right now. Because for those of you who don't understand, when I'm like researching this week, you know, the 20 or 30 hours it took to put together this week's show. 20 hours went strictly into the Elliott letter and the interview. That just 20 hours on its own. And then another 10 hours went into all of this. And this was all hand-coded. You know, we used some engines, but as far as the actual graphic design of everything and making it functional and making it work, that was all done in-house. And then getting the music, that new intro that you saw from that premiered last week, I believe it was, that intro was hand-edited by me. So everything takes just a little bit more effort than I think people realize. So that's why we have the whole Patreon thing. But yes, Joe, as you said, that is an absolute steal on those sound cubes. So how could I have that inside of my next item? I'm going to knock over a light right now, and I know it. This is my next item right here. Oh boy, is this nice. Oh man. So I was actually in the market for both of these items. I was in the market for luggage, and I was in the market, it's screwing up my colors, I was in the market for soundproofing panels. So that's what was really, really crazy about this. So I was able to cubes. More cubes. Guess what 2 colors I love too? I know BS was going to buy red and black ones, and I bought every single set that she had. $2 a set. It's an absolute screaming deal. But she also had this. Same lady had 2 items that I needed. This is an exceptionally nice piece of luggage. If you've never seen this brand before, this IT brand, and has all of the original tags on top. I wish I could, you know, if I had an actual set, I guess this would be one of those things I wouldn't have to worry about. But it has all the tags on it on top and everything. And it's one of those, it even has the interior stuff. Really nice casters on the bottom. And I have a little bit of a dilemma, okay? Now, that piece of luggage, I paid $10 for that, okay? It's worth about $150 online. No joke, okay? But I genuinely need a good piece of luggage. So I think I'm going to keep it. But I am thrilled to take a $140 discount, and that thing rolls like melted butter on a piece of ice. It is insane how smooth that thing rose its way down. Rolls its way down concrete or dirt. I wheeled that bad boy right out of the swap meet. It was fantastic. So those were the first 2 pickups of the day. I saved $150 on soundproofing panels and then $140 on a piece of luggage. I'm damn near $300 worth of, you know, free roll revenue at that point. I'm going to sell 1 block of cubes. Okay, those black and blue ones I'm probably not going to need if I don't throw them in the room or something. You know, sell those ones and I'll get $30 for that. So you can't beat that. CatCon says keep keep the Little Mermaid ones from last week. I am so lazy, guys. I listed those Little Mermaid ones. I didn't even clean them. I put in the listing. I'm like, you're going to have to clean it because I'm not going to clean it. And I know that sounds so horrible, but I actually you know that Charmander? That dirty Charmander, I listed it and sold it for $40. And that's where the comp was on it. It popped out the door, and I put in the listing. This Charmander has been well-loved for many years. I tried to phrase it so it didn't sound, like, awkward. But it's been, you know, well-loved by a child for many years. It's going to need to be machine washed. I am not machine washing this. If you are purchasing it, you will need to machine wash this. 2 different people were interested, and then somebody ended up buying it. And it was in rough shape. So if I find a nice one, it's probably going to be worth 2 times as much. So what else do we got next? We got a very see-through Air Hogs set. It's no BS. It's the same exact green that I have in my background. Again, this is an Air Hogs Hyper Stunt drone, and I peeked in through the side here because it's all taped to heck, and I could see the remote and I could see the drone in there. People are selling them individually, pieces and bits. They're selling them for, I don't know, $12, $13 per bit. There's 2 bits in there. Total thing together about $20. I live in a 2-story house with a loft, so I definitely plan on flying this bad boy first just to make sure it works. Testing. And if it works and everything, then I'll flip it up and out the door. So pleased with that buy. That cost me $1. I opened it and I asked her, I'm like, how much are you looking for on that? And she said, give me $2. And after peering and diddling and watching her wait, I can't tell you how important it is to read your customers. And there's an item that's coming up that I'm going to have a story for you on. But yeah, after watching her, I realized, I'm like, I can get this for half that price. And I'm like, take $1 on it. And she went ahead and sold it to me. So great little pickup on that. We have our first big ticket item of the day. This right here. Oh man. And you know what's really stupid is I walked by this on Saturday. Didn't even think anything of it. And I should have stopped. And you know what got me? Was this plug here on the end. You guys know what this is? This is an XLR plug. just like this one right here. XLR plugs are for microphones, and I should have seen that when I went by it the first time. What we have here is we have a vintage Sennheiser microphone. It's what we call a shotgun mic. So you point it directly at the target that you're looking to speak with. Now this one requires an extra battery on the inside, which I'm going to have to order to be able to do some testing with. But if everything works out fine with this shotgun mic comfortably $100 to $120, especially if I include that battery, and I even have a short 3-foot XLR Mogami cable that I can include for maybe like another $10, really give that added value. I paid $3 for this microphone out at the swap meet. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. You have to have that dynamic range. This is my first time buying a shotgun mic out at a swap meet, or pretty much ever, and I could even use this for production too if it works. Judy, oh my God, Sennheiser is incredible. That's the brand we use on stage. Judy, this isn't even the only Sennheiser item that I got today. No BS, I found a second Sennheiser item at another booth today. We're going to be getting it to here in a second. Those of you who don't know, Judy is a fantastic singer. And feel free to drop a link in the comments, Judy, if you want to direct people to some of the stuff you make. And she has sent me some of her content, and I appreciate it as well. But yeah. $3 and we're going to get $100 on this bad boy. And I'll tell you too, guys, it's been a really nice process listing up my items. Those of you who don't know, as soon as the show's over, obviously I go relax, but the following day I get all the items from upstairs here and I drag them back downstairs. I take photographs of everything and then I throw a movie on, start some laundry, and then sit there and I list. So all of the items you're seeing today will be listed on eBay by the end of tomorrow. Okay, I'm very, very punctual, very serious about making sure I maintain my store, get my numbers up, because after I liquidated my store after the move, my sales have been trash. Now, obviously, I'm selling, 10 to 20% of everything that I list each week during that first week, but I need to start getting the inventory numbers up so I can start expecting more sales. That's the thing about it. I said you can only expect about 1% of your inventory to sell each and every day. I only have about 200 to 300 items listed. I'm only getting 1 to 3 sales per day right now. So I got to start feeding the beast again. So that's why you're going to see me doing a whole lot of pickups over the next probably 3 months. And to be honest with you guys too, there may be a chance that we might start separating some of the show. We might just do the pickups as one show and then the news as another. So if you have any feelings or thoughts on that, feel free to let me know them, and I can kind of digest it and take it all on board. And then we might even have, an option to where if you don't want on-screen chat, to where you can just kind of toggle it on your end, which would be kind of cool. Up next, I picked these up for Daniel. I should probably just throw him downstairs because he's making a ton of noise down there. These are Harbinger gloves. These are for weightlifters. He's not a weightlifter, but if you find these, they start at about $10. Now, if you get the ones with the inserts on the inside for weightlifting, you can get $20, $25 for them, depending on the condition, color, make, model, yada, yada, yada. But he's going to start biking. He was looking for gloves. These were a great buy for $1. Fantastic little pickup. So it's always, like I said, it's always great when you can find stuff you need. Let's just go and take a look at the other Sennheiser item. We have these wonderful Sennheiser HD 205 headphones. And this is where story time is going to happen right now, okay? I am a seasoned, experienced picker, and I am good at swap meets. I'm good with talking to people. I'm good with scanning items, how to sort out all the BS in front of you. And I'm there and I'm scanning this table. I looked back. I looked forth. I pretty much thought I was done. And then in comes this snaky hand from behind me. He just snakes his way in, grabs these headphones, pulls them right out. And I'm looking back at him and I see the top. It says Sennheiser. And originally I'd seen them from the front. And these look like cheap chintzy headphones from the front. They look like you're dime a dozen. And when he pulls them back, I see it. Sennheiser. And I think to myself, I'm like, son of a gun. Like, this guy just sniped these darn headphones right out from underneath of me. He looks at them. He inspects them. He sees the jack on the end. Okay. Doesn't like this 3.5 jack. I don't know why. It's a screw-in jack. It's really, really nice. Puts them back down. Puts them down right in front of me. And I look at the lady. I'm like, and I immediately... I gotta be careful. I immediately snatch them, pick them up. I'm like, how much are you asking on these? And these are the same headphones that the lady that sold me the Air Hogs, the little drone thing, she negotiated and sold that to me for $1. She's like, give me $3. And I think to myself, I'm like, you just gave me $20 on the other one. You want your $3 for a $50 to $60 pair of headphones? Here's your $3. Not even gonna nickel and dime me on it. pay the asking price. Why? Because if I made money the first time and I can give her asking price the second time, okay? She's worked with me once. I've worked with her once. Next time I go to her booth and she has a $20 item and she remembers me as these better not be broken. And she remembers me as the person that actually worked with her and tried to come with a fair number and everything like that. It's going to be so much easier to negotiate on a bigger ticket item, a $20, $30, $40 item. And I say, hey, you remember me? I bought those headphones from you last time. She's like, oh, yeah. How'd they work for you? I'm like, they work great. I loved them. Thank you so much. They actually ended up in a new home. Everything seems good from the person who got them. Fantastic. Hey, I love this item right here. How much were you thinking on it? I'll tell you right off the bat, she's going to give you her lowest price first. Okay, not the real lowest price, but she's been telling everyone 20 all day. She's been countering people at 15 all day, okay? No one's bought it. When she opens to me, her friend, someone who's done business with her, you know what she's going to start with? She's going to start with 15. And I'll tell you, it is a heck of a lot easier to go from 15 to 8 or 10 than it is to go from 20 to 8 or 10. So be very, very mindful of how you work with these resellers. Get to know them by name. The number of people that I saw today that I shook hands with who said, hey, Jay, what's going on? Okay. And I've only been to the swap meet 4 times. Build those long-standing connections in the town that you work. It will pay dividends. Joe, you've seen me out at Sunnyside Swap Meet. Not only do I know both of the owners personally, I've gone to lunch with them as well. They've even come over to my house before. Okay. Brian and, can't remember the other guy's name off the top of my head, but the father-son duo. You know, I know the owners of Swap Meet, but I probably know about 15 or 20 vendors in there by name, or they know me by name, and I'll tell you, I get fantastic deals now because of that. I feel like I'm talking like Trump again. I get the best deals. So let's see what else we got in here. Forgive the tangent, guys. I know we're running a little bit long right now. It's 7:15 where I'm at. I know some of you guys are at 9:15, 10:45. I appreciate everyone who's stuck around. If you want me to sandbag the items till next week, we can wrap it up at 7. If you just want me to keep going, I will as well. We got a Ding All Standard Ultra Clear Repair Kit. Now, take notice of this, guys. That is an Amazon FBA label. Okay? This came from the same lady again that I bought the Air Hogs kit from. This was the 3rd item that I bought from her. I was able to get this bad boy for $8. This is $18 on eBay, but you have to be very careful. Anytime anything has an Amazon FBA label on it, obviously it's been kicked back from Amazon for good reason. Look at completed listings on eBay. Make sure it's actually selling it, okay? Make sure people are getting money for this item. Obviously, inspect it, make sure it's complete and all of that good stuff, but be mindful. Stuff like this, you want to get it listed as quickly as possible. Do not wait to list these types of items. Okay, if you wait, the market can get saturated. The prices are going to bottom out. This is what we're going to be talking about in 2 weeks. This episode tonight was important. But if you're somebody who goes to a swap meet, if you're somebody who's been seeing a lot of Amazon stuff at thrift stores, which trust me when I say this, okay, if you think what's happening at the swap meets is bad right now, oh my God, the thrift stores, it is going to be tenfold the amount of stuff that you're going to see there. I'm bringing up a video right now, and I didn't have an opportunity to import it into, let me see if I can get this going. I didn't have a chance to import it into, oh my God, my finger is in the shot. Hold on, let me see if I can bring up another one. Look at all this. Look at all this Amazon product. Okay? Look at all of that Amazon product. That is one booth. Okay? And my finger's in the way of this one, but this is table after table after table with hundreds of people at that current moment going through Amazon return products. Everything on those tables is all Amazon return stuff. Hundreds. I'd probably say today at the swap meet, there was at least 20,000 Amazon return pieces at one swap meet. One swap meet. So it's going to be so freaking scary, guys. Oh my gosh. I'm like truly worried right now because all of this is flooding into the swap meets because nobody freaking wants it. Okay. And it's going to flood from the swap meets directly to the thrift stores, the junk that won't sell, so that way people can get their tax credits on it. And the thrift stores are going to fill up with garbage. Finding the stuff you want is going to get harder and harder, but the only benefit is that you can expect a severe price reduction in all goods that are ending up at thrift stores. Okay? Everything's going to get cheaper as they start to get hyper saturated with products that no one's actually buying. It's going to be a really, really interesting time. Another category that you guys want to be careful about, water filters. Okay? Water filters are getting restricted everywhere. eBay and Amazon. You have to be hyper careful. Whirlpool is cracking down on a lot of people right now. Okay? Again, what do we have? Amazon, FBA return label. I paid $1 for this. Oh, real quick, that Dingall repair kit, $18, paid $1 for that. This Culligan water filter, paid $1, about $18 to $20 on this. Be careful with water filters. Okay, obviously make sure they're new. If I cracked this one open, it appears new and unused. I can hear the sand rolling around in there. It's not all gummed up. Be careful with Amazon return items right now. It's a very dicey prospect to be working with these. CatCon says, I love this part. Of course, I'm pack time like you. Oh, Pacific time. Yes. Fantastic. Let's see what else we got. And if you guys have questions, seriously, questions about these items, pick my brain about the whole Amazon thing, don't be afraid to, okay? I got a whole bag here. Some of this, oh yeah, this is one of the new items, new categories I've never delved in before. I don't even know how to appropriate look these up, and I spent $8 on these, which is $8 more than I would recommend that you spend on this category if you don't know what you're doing. But I looked at the comps of similar nature and felt that I couldn't lose money on this investment. Oh my God, the damn green screen. Okay, these are Nike Airs, and they are pink and blue. Here, I'll tell you. Here, we'll do the standard green screen just for old time's sake. There we go. They are pink, orange, and blue, and they have matching pink and blue shoelaces as well. These are great looking shoes, okay? So these shoes are fantastic looking. They are in lightly used condition. They can be cleaned up a little bit. I paid $8 for these. Now, if I had to take a stab in the dark, I'm going to argue that I can get at least a minimum of $40 for these shoes. Why is there a bag in here? There's a bag with trash in here. So I'm going to argue screen off looks good. Thanks, CatCon. I appreciate it. I kid you not, this shoe is full of trash. Why? Okay, I'm going to spend some time fishing that trash out later. But yeah, I assume I'm going to be able to get at least $40. Now, on the high end, it could be as much as 100 plus. So I looked at it in that way. 40 plus. Yeah. If you don't know much about shoes, just be careful, guys. That's all I ask. This next buy, this was a personal buy. Again, I got a bag of dice. These are for a friend. And then I got some other stuff for another friend. One of these might end up going to eBay. I picked up a couple of small Funko figures. Yeah, I can't even fix that. His hair is green. And this one's Funko. It's obviously Joker. This is a oh my God, what is his name? I can't even remember. Oh, Domo-kun. And it's a Batman-themed one. I don't think this is worth anything, but I have a friend who would really appreciate it. And then I also got a little Robin string puppet figure type thing. Why is it chromating out over yellow? That is really odd. But I guess I'm having issues with yellow and greens now. So keep the shoes in good shape. Keep them from getting flat. Yeah, it's just a weird thing. Like, it felt like it was, I saw like a Butterfingers wrapper in there. So when I say like trash, I mean like actual trash shoved inside the shoes. I picked up these. They're desk decorations. We got Patrick and we got Sandy Cheeks. I just thought they were really cute. They're Burger King toys. They might be worth something. I don't know. I was gonna make a little restoration video out of this, talking about how to restore vintage toys up so you can make them saleable for eBay as well. I thought that might be a good idea, and I just realized Batman has his cape. It's been ripped off. So this guy is certainly worthless if he was worth anything to begin with. I got another set of God. I got these. Almost can see it. These are Chessex dice. It's a cube of dice. I think there's 24 in here. Or 36. Wow. They're normally... There we go. They're normally $14. I paid $2 for these. These are going to be a gift to go along with the other dice for my friend's birthday. Up next, we got some video games. Easy peasy money. This is the Simpsons game on PSP. I picked up 3 sealed copies, guys. Sealed copies. These are worth about $25 each. Not a bad little pickup. I think I paid $3.33 each, or all 3 for $10. I negotiated a buy 2 get 1 from the guy just to clear out his remaining stock on it. So real pleased on that one. Guys, I want to talk to you about another thing too. We've never talked about this before. Okay. This is a Hanayama brain teaser. Okay. The Hanayama brand has old brain teasers and they have newer brain teasers. The older ones, these brass, these heavy, these classic ones, are sought after by collectors. The more modern ones that you see still being sold in stores, people like them, but they're not super desirable. The harder the difficulty, the more they're worth. This is a difficulty 6 out of 10 Hanayama brain teaser. This vintage brass one is probably worth about $20+. I was able to pick this up for $1 today. If I'm able to put this thing together, it's 3 separate pieces right now. Obviously, when you buy them, you want to try and find a comp. You want to make sure all the pieces are there. And the brand, Hanayama, it's a very, very sought after. And it's actually carved in, or is it? Yeah, Hanayama. You can see it right there on top. Barely. Let me get out of the shot. Can you see it? There it is. So yeah, the brand is definitely sought after. Keep your eyes open for brain teasers of any variety, but preferably all metal brain teasers. People dig them. People love having them. Pam says, I just listed a Patrick plush. Fantastic. CatCon says, turn it off, Jay. Prish. This is going to be a mysterious item to look up. This is a set of Legos, but it's not Legos. It actually says McFarlane Toys on it. I have no clue what this is. I got this with the Patrick and the gloves. I bought all 3 pieces together for $2 total, but Daniel's giving me $1 on the gloves, so this is 50 cents right here. Could be something, could be nothing. Don't really care either way. McFarlane's just an easy money brand to go after when you see it, especially their larger figures can bring in some big bucks. And then up next we have a Multicode by Linear brand, and this is a clicker of some variety. It's not infrared, I don't believe so. It's like a garage clicker. You can use it as a home security clicker. I didn't look this up. I got it for $1. I'm going to clean it up, test it. It's probably going to sell for at least $20. Garage door openers are some of the easiest money you're ever going to make. I'm going to tell you right now, 2 things, guys. Garage door openers and fan remotes. We're talking about the kind that control ceiling fans, Hampton Bay in particular. Those things are like $40 a pop, and garage door openers $20 to $40 all day long. Definitely look out for them. CatCon says, I think going back to my constructive criticism, maybe it would be a good balance if you do the business part of the show, but then turn off the green screen for the show and tell part. See, I've actually considered how I could do that as well, and I've given this a lot of thought. My idea would be to have 2 cameras, and I can have 2 cameras for 1 stream. So when it is time to switch, I can tell everyone, okay guys, jump over to camera 2, or this is the other idea, is to put the desk on casters. As absurd as that sounds. So I can shoot the 1 segment that I need to shoot, pivot the desk, and then be able to have a whole nother backdrop with all of my same equipment set up in the same place and be able to do that. Now, I wouldn't necessarily turn the desk live, but it could be something that could be done during like an intermission or during different types of shoots. So I don't know. It's a lot to do. And I'll be honest with you guys, when I started this like a couple of years ago, I had already thought I would have a studio by now. I'm a little bit surprised I don't, but I understand that I've had a lot of shortcomings over the last year. There's a lot of promises that I made to do for the show that I just simply haven't fulfilled on. So I've definitely tried after I made this move to commit more time into the production and the quality of this show, and hopefully it'll be coming through for you. Okay, up next, we got an entire box. This whole box goes together. It was 1 buy and it is very, very heavy. All of this was bought at one time. We have 4 pieces of Dromo car brand track. We have an entire bag of guardrails. And then look at all of this. These are all curved pieces of slot car racing track, vintage slot cars. Okay, we have an old box, which, believe it or not, I will get some money for. We have the slot car remote, slot car transformer, and a bag of assorted cars and chassis for slot cars as well. Risers for the track, and then underneath of here is an entire stack of straights and crossover slot car racetrack bits. So this entire this entire box was purchased for the low price of $15. So how good of a price is that? Well, I can sell 3 or 4 pieces of curved track and make all of my money back. Okay, just to give you an idea. This entire box as a whole will probably net anywhere between $150 to $200. I may do a single lot just because I'm lazy, but we'll see. I just thought it was kind of cool. I've never really dealt in the vintage slot car stuff, but even the guardrails sell for good money because I guess they break all the time. So having vintage guardrails is great. Minikoy says, how far you have come from the couch shows. Yeah, those couch shows were great. Joe says, price of shipping if anyone needs one. What's going on now? I have a box full of brand new Craftsman garage door openers, paid 50 cents each. If anyone needs one for themselves, Craftsman Series 100. Wow, Joe, great score. Easy money right there. Yeah, I need a whole box of personal garage door openers for myself. So send them on over, buddy. That's everything from that side. Wouldn't you know it though? I have a whole nother side of items over here. I'm going to kind of hammer through some of these. We are in the later hours. We have Nintendogs and Cats for the 3DS. This is one of the few animal simulator type games that's worth money. This is about $20 to $25 on this one. We got Voodoo Vince for the original Xbox. That's about $10 to $12. And then we got the Simpsons Road Rage. I found this one to be particularly interesting because it has the side seal. It has a security seal on the bottom. I can't tell if they're authentic just yet because I didn't take the time to re-look at it, but it is obviously missing its original shrink wrap. I did a little cursory glance on the inside and it appears to be complete, appears to be new. I'm going to give it another look over. It's going to be worth about $15. I got all 3 games for $5. Can't beat that price. And then we got 2 items that I'm ashamed to admit that I actually purchased for the price that they were selling for, but I couldn't pass up on the opportunity to make $20 on each item. We have this Netgear range extender. This is a bridge. I paid... from a, Salvation Army, I paid $13.44 for this. It sickens me that I paid that much. This sells for $50. After fees and shipping, I'm going to make a $20 bill on that, so I had to get it. Came with the power supply as well. I did plug it in. I did test it. It does work. And then again, we have an Airbus Aeris. This is a modem router combo, I believe. Again, I paid $13.44. Disgust me. It's another $50 bill. I'll make a $20 profit after everything's said and done. Again, not the types of percentage margins that I like, but I couldn't pass up on $20. So I had to buy it. It's a matter of do I want $20 or not. So I went ahead and got it and threw it inside the cart. And then, ladies, gentlemen, I want to talk to you about something. Okay? Do you guys own shoehorns? Okay, this is a filthy shoehorn right here. I want to tell you right now, young guys who are in their 20s, 30s, okay, guys who push their shoes on by jamming their foot into the back side of the shoe and in turn destroying the back end of your shoe. Have you experienced the joy of using a shoehorn and how easy it is to take your shoes or to put your shoes on? You don't even have to bend over. Why is it that it was until I was maybe 32 years old, maybe 31, before I learned about the joys of shoehorns? Buy a shoehorn. Your shoes will last longer. Your feet will thank you. They're like $1. I paid 50 cents for this at a brand new thrift store that I went to. It's run by some church. Buy a shoehorn. And I had to get a replacement because my last one actually broke because I wore it out after a couple of years of using it. Get a shoehorn, guys. It makes life so much easier. CatCon, love my shoehorn. Oh, hand carved ones. I would kill. I've been looking for a wooden one for, probably 2 months now, 3 months now. Haven't been able to find a wooden. So I ended up getting this Florsheim brand shoehorn. I really like that it's a solid body construction. Get away from ones that are two-piece, and it has a way to hang it to the wall as well, which is really nice. But yeah, if you can get a single-piece shoehorn and you can pay $1 or less, it will pay for itself. Don't smash your feet into your shoes. You are lowering the life of your shoes. I have a pair of Nikes that's 2.5 years old, and they still look like they're brand new because I don't jam my foot into the back of them. So I just really wanted to stress that for you. I lost 4 viewers right there, but I really wanted to stress the importance of that. Easy Amazon money here. We only got a few more items left, guys. Sony 6-hour 5-pack VHS tapes. I paid $2 for this. This is a comfortable $40 bill on Amazon all day long. And I need a few more items that I can actually send into Amazon so I can do my next order. I do them 30 at a time. So, yeah. And then these Tiger handhelds. I think we've talked about these once before. These can range anywhere from as low as $7.99 to as high as $100 depending on which one you get. This one right here, this is Simon's Quest. This one's worth about $30 on its own. This one right here is Vindicators. This one's worth a subjective $30. No completed sales, no cheaper listings. I don't know where I'm going to price this one yet. This one is missing the battery cover. This one has the battery cover. I paid $4 for the pair. Fantastic little pickup though. Definitely keep your eyes open for old Tiger handheld electronics. Oh, and then I picked up a cassette. This is for audio cassette, excuse me. This is for Amazon as well. Whenever you see sealed audio cassettes, don't be foolish. Stop what you're doing and scan them, okay? If it's Brilliant Audio, stay away from it. But every other brand, stop and scan it. This is about $30 to $40 on its own. If you're worried, if you think, man, I scanned it, I don't know if it's actually going to sell, look at the rank. Sub 1 million, maybe even sub 2 million. If you're really willing to wait a little bit on audiobooks is fine. And then check the used price. If it's brand new for 40, but people are buying it used for 30, it's probably going to be a-okay. If it's new for 40 and it's used for $3, it's probably not worth the $40. So just use that as a standard metric. That one right there was 32 used, 40 new. So I said it's going to be fine. I feel like I'm forgetting some stuff, but then again, I have shown you guys a lot of stuff. So we got a, what is this called? Pet Agree. What fun wordplay. This is a Sonar pet training device. Anything that I see that looks like a garage clicker, I'm going to pick up and I'm going to figure out what it is. This is anywhere between $20 to $30, depending on where the market's at on them. I've seen some sell as low as 10 and as high as 40. So I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to test it, make sure it actually works. But I paid $1 for this as well. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. I love getting items for $1 and then selling it for $20, $30 rather than buying an item for $13 and selling it for, for $50. It just seems kind of senseless when I could get 13 $1 items that I can get $50 a piece for. You're looking at about $40 profit margin on each one of those dollar bills I spend. So, $10 of $1 buys equals $400 worth of profit, opposed to spending 13 on one item and making a $20 profit. It's just the sensibility of it. You will never use a shoehorn. Oh my gosh. Okay, up next, what do we have here? We have a XM-3 mobile electronic crossover by Acoustic. I bought this reluctantly for $8. They sell for $50. Again, this is the same thing that I was talking about. I don't like spending $8 on a $50 bill. I know that there's $50 bills out there for $2 or $3. But again, it was a matter of, do I want to make $30? Do I want to leave it behind? Went ahead and pulled the trigger on it. It's one of my least favorite thrift stores in this town. Everything is full price there, like stupid full price. So the fact that this slipped under the radar is a little bit surprising, but the reality is this could have been priced at $8 since the 80s when it was maybe worth $8, and now it's worth $50 because people might need a replacement one. And then last but I guess it's kind of least. Some people find this type of stuff enjoyable. I bought it because it was cheap and I couldn't find anything else at this store. We have a sewing machine parts box by Rotary. And there's a whole bunch of parts on the inside. I think that's what this is. Yeah, sure looks like it. Whole bunch of stainless steel parts. I've had a few of these before in the past. They sell for $20, $25 depending on the parts that are in there. I don't research the parts. I take my money as it is. It can be worth $50. I'm not going to spend an hour researching each part. If I can list it and I can get the $25 that I want for it after paying a buck, out the door it goes. And even if I leave more money on the table, I guarantee you the time that I spend learning more about this item that I rarely come across anyways would be better spent outsourcing. And that's why we talked about Patreon earlier. 30 hours of me sourcing, okay? Because everything you saw today, all of this stuff here, was sourced in under 10 hours. Okay. So we're looking at roughly, I don't know, what do we got here? Probably at least $500 to $700 worth of profit. Really, really good margins on a lot of items today. A lot of stuff that I actually get to keep myself, not even factoring in the value on the soundproofing panels or the luggage either. So when I say, you know, like, hey, help the show out, help support us out, even if you're an existing patron at the $15 level and you feel like, you know, you want to help us out a little bit more, we do have a $30 tier and it would help out a lot. Or let somebody know about the show, you know, if nothing else, tell them, hey, check out this episode, really great guy, yada, yada, yada. But that's all my items for the week, guys. It's been a really, really interesting week. I also want to touch base, too. I know things have been a little bit crazy with eBay. And I know things have been a little bit crazy with Amazon. And we talked about this before. And people have asked me, Jay, what are we going to do? What's going to happen? What are our options? And to be completely transparent with you, I've been working with a company called Prairie Grit. And Prairie Grit is a emerging site looking to rattle the e-commerce space. So during that letter from Elliott Management, we saw things talking about mismanagement. We saw things talking about lack of transparency. We saw things talking about lack of accountability. And those are some of the core tenets for the company Prairie Grit. And basically what it is, you go on there, you can list your items, you can sell your items, you know, you can interact with customers, all the same stuff that you would get on any other site, all the same type of popular categories that you would see on other sites, except you're allowed to sell whatever you want. And there's no final value fees. I know that sounds nutty, but you get no final value fees. But right now, because of what we're doing, we're offering people a free month if you want to try it out. Now, it definitely does help support the show. 100% transparent on that. If you sign up, even if you get your free month, it does help us out with what we're doing. You just visit prairiegrit.com/free month, and you'll get your free month to try it out. And what's really great about it, too, and this was just announced last week, is now you can use PayPal on the platform, which is really, really great. So if you're one of those people that's saying, I can't use PayPal on eBay, or you're worried about using PayPal on eBay because of the change that's happening this year, remember, by 2020, PayPal will not be an option on eBay. So I expect a mass exodus to happen, and I want people to know that we have a platform ready and waiting for everyone who's looking to come across. So it's pretty amazing. So definitely check it out. prairiegrit.com/free month. You're going to have to type in the HTTPS and all that stuff if you're going to want to be able to click it from there. But definitely check that out. And we're going to have more information on that as things start moving further down. But yeah, I don't know. Let's play a little bit of music on the way out. So one other thing that I promised you guys this week was a new outro, and I'm going to be honest with you, I've just been slammed with other things. I just haven't been able to do it. So what I did was I tried to compensate by listing your guys' names down here on the bottom. Now this is a feature of this week, but the feature may be changing down the line. We might be looking at other types of things that we can run at the bottom as far as you know, like the news and the things that we're going to be doing for this week's show, or we might take some of the stuff like the Ask Your Questions and put it down in a ticker down below. I don't know. We're trying to figure it out. The idea was basically so that way I could declutter, not have, you know, stuff like, you know, this constantly on screen like it was before. Just be able to try and get things spaced out. And again, this was another one of those learning experiences, like learning how to do this, you know? That's kind of cool, but it took a while to figure out and how to make it work and all that stuff. So just trying to clean up the presence and everything. But I didn't have time to get the new outro. So I thought this week I would just take a moment and personally thank all the patrons who make this possible, because boy, it's been a wild ride. And we talk about this quite a bit, about the ride that we've been through together and the quality of the production. I'd like to feel that it's gotten to a point where it needs to be. And you know, we're here for the everyday seller. We're not here, you know, and here's the thing, right? Dropship Tyler, fantastic guy. But he moved $3.5 million worth of product last year, okay? Nothing that we do here is going to be within that realm of volume. You know, we're talking about being successful within our own regard. We're talking about selling our $20, $30, $40, $50, $60,000 worth of inventory per year and making our modest income for that. So for everyone who helped make this possible, and to be able to help further and further share this type of training and information, thank you. It means a lot. So thank you to everyone who took the time to be here tonight. Thank you to our guest, Dropship Tyler, again for being on air. And also make sure you stay tuned in 2 weeks as we are going to be returning back. Like I said, we're skipping next week, but in 2 weeks we're going to be returning back with Joe Rensig from Conway Resale. And we're going to be talking about all of the Amazon stuff and everything that's going to be happening. It's going to be a must-watch episode. And on top of that, we're going to be covering the Q4 call with eBay. And on top of that, one other thing, I will be releasing a video this week. It will come out on Sunday. If you enjoyed that interview and you want to see it as a standalone or you want to share it, it's available on my YouTube channel right now. Thank you again to everyone for tuning in this evening. It has been a fantastic time. Today is January 27th, 2019, and you just watched the Sunday Reseller Roundup with e-commerce expert Jay Craft. Thank you again for watching, guys, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time. And remember, if you don't make that money, someone else will.